Level Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the Simulation Football League.
With a population of 200,000 strong, Sioux Falls, South Dakota now becomes the center of the sim football universe. And two of the Simulation Football League's established powers are set to lock horns as we bring you the anchor leg of SFL Wild Card Weekend here on Next Level Sports, with the Florida Storm rolling in to face the Sioux Falls Sparrows. This is the SFL Playoffs presented by APM Music on Next Level Sports. My name is Josh Circle, bringing you the play-by-play for today's matchup. And joining me in the booth is my best friend in the whole world, Stephen Hacker. And Hack, this might be the closest 5-12 matchup you'll see in any tournament, let alone the SFL playoffs.
That's right, Josh. Both of these teams are perennial powerhouses in the SFL. A lot of playoff experience between these two franchises, and I think this is probably the most exciting matchup of the weekend, Josh. I couldn't be more thrilled to be here in this wild card round, calling with a great broadcaster like yourself, and getting to watch these two great teams square off to get us a close on this weekend. And I think Sioux Falls, with their great turnover differential, they set the record in the SFL this season. And I think Florida has the right ground game to try to neutralize that dangerous defensive backfield of the Sioux Falls Sparrows. So we'll see if Florida elects to use their running back Bullet Valetsky, because I think he's the X factor for the Florida Storm in this game.
Yeah, Valetsky has been an absolute beast this season. Over 1,400 yards rushing on the ground, second best in the league. His 20 rushing touchdowns, number one in the league. And oh, by the way, he's the team's leading receiver as well with 76 catches. And he can score through the air as well. And guess what, Steven? Florida will start the game with the ball. Sioux Falls in black from head to toe, set the kickoff. Florida wearing red helmets, white jerseys, and blue pants. The visitors here, the most unlikely of 12 seeds here in the SFL, and we are underway in South Dakota. I believe this is Justice Blackwell bringing this out from his own goal line, and it will be brought to the 21-yard line. And, Steven, here comes the Florida Storm offense.
Absolutely, and they have their quarterback, Ron Cochran, long time in the league, and he's just one of those quarterbacks that is unfazed by any kind of pressure. And with the weapon, the young Bullet Valetsky, the running back, I just think that, Cochran and this offense, they really can put Sioux Falls to the test here tonight.
Ron Cochran will start under center on 1st and 10. J.W. Doyle in the game at fullback. Cochran over the middle. That is deflected. An early jeopardy there. And that was Nick Fargo, the inside linebacker. Let's meet the rest of the Sioux Falls defense. On the defensive front, Biff Markham, Corey Dobbins, Ray West, and James Kelly. The linebacking core, we mentioned Nick Fargo. He's in his 10th SFL season. Derek Williams and the rookie Jason Strongbow. And the secondary, Terrell Davis, Ernest McCrae Sr., A.J. Levy in his 13th season, Jay Ringgold, Nathan Barnett, and John Barnhart. And more about this Sioux Falls secondary in a moment. Trips to the bottom of your screen here on 2nd down. And Valetsky has a seam on the left side, and he's out to midfield. An early big play here for Florida on the opening drive of the game. And now Florida sitting in plus territory.
And you see why he earned, that name, Bullet Valetsky. He's shot out of a cannon there, right out of the off the left side. Great blocking from the wide receiver, and downfield gets a couple extra blocks. And this Florida team will commit to the running game. They get great blocking from their 3 offensive linemen. And when your receivers also commit to blocking, you can spring these big runs, and Valetsky is the perfect running back for it.
Somebody needs to give a pancake to E.J. Minson, a tremendous block there that helped spring Valetsky. Valetsky nowhere to go this time, although on the other hand, tremendous breaking tackles and spinning moves and turned a chicken salad. A 6-yard gain there for Valetsky, who dazzles even on the shortest of runs, Stephen.
Yeah, and I think he ate his Wheaties this morning. Has just, absolutely come out here early in this ballgame looking to take on that workhorse load. And I think having to wait an extra game has now made him just that much hungrier and ready to get on the field and find some contact.
4 wideouts in the game now for Florida. Trips to the top of your screen. In a bunch formation, 5 defensive backs for Sioux Falls, and nowhere to go for Valetsky that time. Sioux Falls coming up with a big tackle for loss. The big play that the Sioux Falls defense needed. It's 3rd and long. Biff Markham on the stop.
and a lot of teams looking to attack the sidelines here in the playoffs. That's a couple of different teams using the toss play here in the playoffs, and a toss isn't generally used much in the regular season. It's interesting that it's been wrinkled in here in the wild card round.
Valetsky on the sideline for 3rd and long, empty set. Cochran pump fake, shrugs one tackler, but not the second. It's a big sack for Sioux Falls, and the Sioux Falls defense holds, and that will bring out the punt team for Florida.
And just at the right time, Sioux Falls defense finally shows up and gets Florida to slow down a little bit. They're going to be pinned back deep. Marcus Agrippa, one of the better punters in the SFL, so Sioux Falls did a good enough job to keep him out of field goal range, but now going to have a tough task, probably with really rough starting field position.
Agrippa in his 5th SFL season will punt it away to A.J. Levy, who's actually going to make some semblance of a return here, breaks one tackle, but then finally brought down at the 14-yard line. And as you said, Stephen, very nice field position for Florida, at least. Sioux Falls, somewhat in the shadow of their own goalpost.
Yeah, Levy really, I think, made the right decision, too, not waving that, not calling for a fair catch, trying to get away from his own end zone, and definitely don't let that one bounce. That probably would have died somewhere around the 3-yard line, and Florida had that well covered. So good job by Levy to at least try to get some yards out of it.
Julian Tyree under center here on 1st down. Short drop, throwing to his left, and that is caught. A big 1st down here for Sioux Falls in the early goings. And as soon as we get a close-up on that, it looks like we're not going to get a number on that. Sorry, folks. Let's meet the rest of the Sioux Falls Sparrows offense. The wide receivers, A.J. Warren, K. Marion, Noe Terrazas, and Al Dillapre Sr. The fullback in his 3rd season, Charlemagne Cornelius, G.P. Wells, the rookie at halfback. Caesar Ackerman is the tight end. He's also in his 1st SFL season. And under center, and in the shotgun on this play in his 13th season, Julian Tyree will be in the shotgun on 1st and 10, throwing to his right side. That is complete. And a big gain. Back-to-back 1st downs now. That's Noe Terrazas coming up with a catch.
Yeah, and any of these Sioux Falls Sparrows wide receivers can have a big game in a given week. And Tyree does a great job spreading the love around, finding the open receiver, and depending on the matchup. And, in my opinion, Kay Marion is kind of their big play ability receiver, so you have to kind of lock her down first. But Noe Terrazas does a great job in those intermediate level routes, and great job by Tyree to find him there on the sideline.
G.P. Wells, the rookie sensation. He has a 1st down. He's loose on the right side. Can they catch him before he reaches the end zone? Another good tackle, and G.P. Wells strikes first blood.
And that second effort there, the defender tried to drag him down from behind. Great blocking there from the fullback as the great blocking, and he cuts it out to the right-hand side. And G.P. Wells with his strength there to shed that tackle, and then it's off to the races to get into for the touchdown. And Sioux Falls coming in big early in this ball game, Josh.
54 yards on their opening drive of the game. G.P. Wells gives Sioux Falls a 6-0 lead. With only a few minutes expired here in the 1st quarter, it'll be Zastel Black to add the extra point. Black also in his rookie season, one of the handful of newcomers that joined this Sioux Falls team in the offseason. Although you can make the case they're not rookies anymore. Black boots it through, and the Sparrows looking really stout at home so far. They lead 7-0.
And that's a good sign for your team. If you can come out and score on your first possession when you have a defense that plays as well as yours does here at home, I mean, that's a fantastic start in this ballgame.
If you're new to the SFL, the Simulation Football League combines traditional sports, esports, and a role-playing game into one. Team strategies are being executed in real time by our simulations as real-life players compete on the virtual gridiron. For more information about the SFL, visit our website at simulationfl.net. The SFL, we put the fan in fantasy, and Justice Blackwell will put the ball on the 24-yard line for Florida to start their second drive of the game, Stephen.
Yeah, and I think that Florida needs to go back and try to get Bullet Beletsky a little more involved. And they showed that he has the ability on the ground to spring some big plays for him. I think they need to look here early to Charlie Beletsky.
Beletsky 3 carries so far for 40 yards. Instead, Cochran will throw here to Stephen Bush, and Mr. Bush has his first catch of the contest for a gain of 7, 2nd and 3.
Yeah, and Bush on the season with 48 receptions, 3 touchdowns, and 66 targets. So a very well-used target for this offense. Also averaging just under 11 yards per reception.
And had a huge game against Sioux Falls in their last meeting. Granted, that was a couple of seasons ago. Valetsky around the right side this time, and he is stopped behind the line. Another huge TFL for Sioux Falls. The defense coming up big. Jason Strongbow, the rookie, making the tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
And that's good for this third tackle for loss. 2 during the regular season, 1 here in the playoffs now. Great play made by the rookie.
And now it's 3rd and medium here for this Florida team. Cochran is going to lob it over the middle. Deflected. A dangerous ball. About as dangerous it gets. Intended for Bush. And that is a very swift 3 and out for the Florida offense.
Yeah, and great coverage from the secondary to come over there late as the ball was deflected up. And the safety came over and knocked down the receiver to keep him out of the play to prevent a catch from being made.
And now get your popcorn ready, Steven, because A.J. Levy is set to return this punt. 2 punt returns for touchdowns all time, though none this season. Punt is away, no pressure from Sioux Falls. Levy will have a little bit of real estate. Brings it upfield, he'll get out to the 45. They'll spot him at the 46 before he's brought down. And we've talked about this Florida offense, but Sioux Falls, they've got a little spark plug in their backfield as well. GP Wells, 193 carries on the season, just shy of 1,000 yards, but 16 touchdowns on the ground. Has been pacing this Sioux Falls offense. Tyree over the middle, and that is going to be complete. I believe that was Caesar Ackerman, the tight end. And it will be a fresh set of downs here for Sioux Falls.
Yeah, and a big reason why they got the chains to move on that one was the second effort from Ackerman, diving forward to reach out and extend his arm to get past the marker.
Tyree handing off to Wells. Wells getting some nice blocks in the first level, but cuts back inside and has nowhere to go. Going to be 2nd and 5 now from the Florida 39.
Yeah, great job by the linebackers to stay true to their responsibility as the GP Wells tried to change directions, and the Florida Storm were not fooled by it.
Tyree dropping back again. Wells is flattened. Ryan Davidson. Welcome to the SFL playoffs, Mr. Wells. And that's going to bring up 3rd down.
When you have a cornerback willing to step up and make a play on the ball carrier like that close to the line of scrimmage, that's a huge value, a huge asset to your defense. Great play from the cornerback.
Now big 3rd down. Tyree in the shotgun. Charlemagne Cornelius back in the game at fullback. And that is complete, and that is another 1st down. Noe Terrazas is owning that sideline right now. And Sioux Falls marches down to the Florida 31.
The Sparrows look really comfortable right now, Josh. I mean, Tyree not really, going through his progressions, looks really calm in the pocket and delivering some nice throws on both of their possessions.
Now past the halfway point of this first quarter. Trips to the bottom of your screen. Tyree will stay in the shotgun. 6 defensive backs on the field for Florida. See all slants, and that is complete. It's going to be a nice gain on 1st down. Al Dillapre Sr. with his first action of the game. Good for 8 yards. It'll be 2nd and 2.
Now 4 receivers with the reception in this ball game for the Sparrows. Tyree again showing that he's willing to spread the love around to these receivers.
And now Sioux Falls comes out in the heavy set. J.J. McGee, the backup tight end, in the formation with Cornelius and Wells in the back. Wells gets the call. Wells has the 1st down, loose on the left side, and is dragging defenders down to the 11-yard line. And you see the numbers there, a tremendous start for GP Wells.
And a fantastic start to this ball game at home. Sparrows need this kind of grinded out action in the playoffs. Defense can win you a championship, but when you have a running back that comes out and can grind the clock and get you big yards and keep the chains moving, that almost helps you get that win for sure. So it's, Sioux Falls is on the right track right now. Florida definitely appears to be on their heels.
And it will be 1st and 10. The line to gain is inside the 1-yard line. Tyree, play action, throw it to the left side. Dangerous throw, and it's caught. A touchdown. Sioux Falls strikes again. Dillapre Sr. with the catch.
Wow, and just Tyree squeezed that one in there, and I don't know how the defender didn't make the play on it, as they were right in position. I mean, almost had it played perfectly. The only thing missing was the bat down, and just, overplayed the ball, and then Al Dillapre, with nobody around, able to walk into the end zone. A huge play, and Sioux Falls now with a 13-point lead, 14 points pending on the extra point, Josh. And, again, Florida totally on their heels right now.
That defender, Steven, was Christian Paul, the Storm's backup quarterback. They have 3 star cornerbacks. They had to bring extra personnel in. And Sioux Falls won that matchup, and Dillapre has his first touchdown of these SFL playoffs. The Black kicks the extra point, and the Sparrows lead 14-0 here in the first.
And just totally calm and collected on their offensive possessions. They've looked great, coming out the gate here in this ball game. Sioux Falls just rolling early on.
And now Black set to kick off to Justice Blackwell. And Blackwell has some return credentials as well. Will run it out from his own goal line. Out to the right side, and then dragged down at the 21-yard line. Esports TV has partnered with the SFL to bring sim football to millions of homes over the next 2 years. ESTV is the world's first 24/7 live, linear, and video-on-demand esports channel, available everywhere through your smart TV, on your phone, through Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and more. Visit estv.co to learn more and find all the ways you can catch SFL action on the network. Ron Cochran looking for a catch here on 1st and 10, throwing over the middle, and that is in and out of the hands of his receiver. That might have been Blackwell. No, excuse me, that is number 89. Jose Galliano, who has not seen a lot of playing time this season, and you just saw why. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and then the good coverage, the safety dropping down, coming in from the top side. Definitely, I think Galliano felt the pressure being applied, and it forced the incompletion.
Now 4 wideout set here for Florida. That is deflected, and that hung up in the air for an uncomfortable amount of time off the arm of Nathan Barnett. As we have 3rd and 10, let's meet the rest of the Florida Storm offense. 3 offensive linemen on this team, star offensive linemen, I should say. They are Greg McDonaldson, Griffin King, the rookie, and Joseph Wade. The wide receiver core, Stephen Bush, E.J. Minson, and Justice Blackwell. The tight ends, Paulie Truth and Veridin Zarkov. J.W. Doyle in his 7th season as the fullback. Charlie Boletsky at halfback. Ron Cochran in his 10th SFL season in the shotgun, throwing over the middle again. Blackwell has it. Needs to be well short of the marker. It'll be 4th and 4. And here comes another appearance from Marcus Agrippa.
Yeah, and just unfortunate for Florida right now. Can't quite get enough steam going, and just another 3 and outs. And Agrippa's going to come back out and give Sioux Falls a good starting field position. And, Tyree and that offense, GP Wells, they're really cooking right now, Josh. Florida has got to figure something out in a hurry.
The Sioux Falls defense is like an Australian COVID lockdown. A.J. Levy makes a fair catch at the Sioux Falls 38. And Julian Tyree, in his very stout offense, will be on the field. 17 rushing touchdowns for this offense in the regular season. But most impressive to me, Steve, it's only 17 turnovers. That is tops in the SFL.
Yeah, and it is so tough to, protect the ball at times in the SFL. Quarterbacks can go out sometimes and get a little greedy, and protecting the ball can become a chore, and some teams do it well.
GP Wells on the swing pass. Well, a nice gain to start this drive. They're going to spot him at the 43. And we mentioned Wells and his proficient running ability, but get this, 124 receptions Many of them look just like that, but that is incredibly proficient even, especially for a rookie.
Yeah, and it shows a lot of trust. That's why they drafted him where they drafted him, and they wanted to use him in their offense.
And using him again, and Wells gets loose. Ooh, and still on his feet before being brought down by Alex Dominguez, showing great hustle. Is the 11th year defensive lineman, and that is a fresh set of downs for the Sparrows.
Yeah, Wells on the screen. 73 gets out, makes a nice block. Lets him go a little early, but Wells does the rest once he has the daylight in front of him, even with the sideline there to the right, the wherewithal to stay in bounds even on the spin move.
And now Sioux Falls in plus territory again. They have been 3 for 3 in that regard so far today. Twin tight end set now for Sioux Falls. GPA in the backfield, and the swing pass out again, but nowhere to go this time. Andrew Francis is going to shut that down. The 10th year strong safety corrals Wells at the 37 for a gain of just 1 yard.
Yeah, and that's what they're going to need. They're going to have to, these defensive backs are going to have to come down and meet GP Wells at the line of scrimmage to prevent these long runs. They can't let that first tackle. They can't let him break that first tackle. These defensive backs have to come up and play strong in this ball game.
Wells heads to the sideline. All 4 wideouts in the game for Sioux Falls. Tyree in the shotgun. Florida runs the twist, and that is another catch. And that is A.J. Warren, who's not seen a lot of action this year, only 32 catches, but now has 1 in the playoffs. And that's another first down for Sioux Falls.
Yeah, now all the receivers with the reception for the Sparrows. And again, just that's a great testament to Tyree reading through his progressions, finding the open receiver.
Under center this time. Pressure, and down he goes. Then it's the big man himself, Alex Dominguez, coming up with a big sack right when his team needs it.
Yeah, and Big Sexy, no stranger to the sack department, leads the SFL all-time in sacks, and that's a free one there. And nobody blocks him untouched. And Alex Dominguez knows what to do, finishes that play off.
Dominguez hit his 200th career sack earlier in season 18. He has 203 and a half coming into the week. I can't believe any of them were easier than that one. And you see the numbers there on Dominguez. Now, Sioux Falls needs to find some answers here on second and long. Tyree going play action, throw it to the left sideline, caught and out of bounds is K. Marion. That's going to make it 3rd and 9.
And Sioux Falls on offense feeling the most pressure they felt all game long here on this 3rd and 9. And Florida needs to stand strong. They've got a great opportunity here to get the Sioux Falls offense off the field. They need to stand a nice defensive stand.
And Sioux Falls has to be conservative as well because they have a chance to add to their lead with a Zashnal Black field goal. Tyree will go play action again. 4-man rush for Florida. That is caught, but cannot quite get to the marker. And a decision time here for the Sparrows. Dillapre Sr. on the catch.
Yeah, and I think Coach Jason McGee is going to go with the 3 points, and I think Florida will at this point will say that's a win. Your defense held on, was able to stop Sioux Falls, and you need to come out next possession and build on that. But now Ron Cochran and the offense is going to get an opportunity, and they got some things to figure out. So we'll see if all the scheming that the team has done will come out to their benefit, Josh.
And it's going to have to wait until the second quarter. Sioux Falls up big early. You're watching the SFL playoffs presented by APM Music on Next Level Sports. Welcome back to Sioux Falls, South Dakota for the SFL playoffs. Josh Zirkle, Stephen Hacker in the booth. Justin Reeside and Liam on stats. Thank you, gentlemen. Cameron Irvine producing. Sioux Falls jumped out to a 14-0 lead. In the first quarter, they're looking to add to that on the very first play of the second quarter. Zashnal Black from 36 yards getting it done. And now Sioux Falls leads 17-0.
Yeah, and Sioux Falls just out the gates has pretty much put together a perfect game plan here, Josh. I mean, Tyree up to this point, 12 of 12, 119 yards passing, has a touchdown, no interceptions. Sioux Falls just looking perfect on the game so far. So Florida, needs to stay calm. There's plenty of ball game left here, Josh, and they have an explosive offense. They have a good defense. They can fight their way back in, but it's got to start right now here with Ron Cochran in the drive.
Justin Blackwell from his own 8. He's going to run straight up the middle of the field and is brought down at the 27. The SFL convention is coming to the Las Vegas Strip, July 10th through 12th. HyperX Esports Arena at the Luxor will host the season kickoff featuring all 28 teams in action, live commentary throughout the day, every game on the big screens, and your chance to be introduced to the world as a football star. Visit simulationfl.net/convention for more information. Ron Cochran from his own 27, under pressure on a short drop, and down he goes, another sack for the Sioux Falls Sparrows.
And the short drop means Cochran needs to go through his progressions a little more quickly. As James Kelly able to sneak in there and get his first sack of the ball game, but that short drop, Cochran's really got to find better pressure. So I'll account that as a coverage sack, Josh.
Fair enough. Kelly, 5.5 sacks on the regular season. Adds one here. Boletsky on the swing pass. Will take a little abuse there as he makes his way to the sideline. And now it's going to be 3rd and 6. Very tough spot for this Florida offense that saw themselves in a bunch of tough spots, Steven, in the first quarter.
Yeah, Florida really needs to find a way to prevent these 3 and outs. They've had 2 so far in this game already. Another one here would be a bad sign for their offense.
Max protect now, and Cochran still under pressure. And that is somehow caught into the window. Stephen Bush, how did you come up with that catch?
Well, Riverboat Ron, I guess he's a gambler and likes to throw that one into triple coverage, but Stephen Bush, with a great play in traffic, able to bail Cochran out and move the chains for the Storm.
He had a defender on either side of him and 2 draped along his back, and somehow Stephen Bush came up with that catch to give Florida a first down. Doyle is going to stay back in the game. It looks like they're trying to address the protection issues that Cochran's having. He throws again here on first down. That is caught. And I think that is Bush again along the left side, and it's going to be 2nd and 7.
And I think Florida is doing a great job here. They're trying to feel out what's going to work in their playbook against this Sparrows offense. So kind of throwing some different looks at them. And the last couple of plays have worked out pretty well.
And here's a different look. Only one wide receiver in the game. I believe that's Minson to the bottom of your screen. Doyle, and then Boletsky, who gets the call here. Doesn't have the block, though, and he's going to get tackled out of bounds at the 46. Storm approaching midfield. Boletsky slow to get up.
Yeah, a little slow, but just, I think, doing that for the theatrics, the drama, and probably the most manageable 3rd down to this point for Florida. Have to be feeling good about this 3rd and 3 at their own 46-yard line.
Minson at the bottom of your screen. Again, the only wideout in the game. 2 tight ends to the left side along with J.W. Doyle offset in the eye. Cochran will throw to Boletsky. The pass is behind him, but he makes the adjustment. A spin move there. And now Florida is into Sioux Falls territory. And at long last, the Storm offense beginning to hum here in the SFL playoffs.
Yeah, finally, building up a little confidence. I expect them to kind of bring out some more 2 and 3 wide receiver looks now that they've crossed midfield. But Florida definitely, kind of finding their rhythm here on this drive. Interesting to see if they can get Boletsky going on the ground to try to help him get a little bit closer to the SFL red zone, Josh.
You see the numbers there on the ground. 4 carries, 38 yards. You can add 2 receptions for 16 yards to that tally as well. Boletsky will keep it on the ground here on the right side and nowhere to go as the blocking collapses around Boletsky. And I think that's Nick Fargo, Biff Markham on the stop there as well.
Yeah, Biff Markham, great tracking there as Boletsky trying to be patient and let the blocking develop, but just Markham was all over that play from the jump, and a great play there in the backfield.
J.W. Doyle will stay in the game. At fullback, 3 wide set for Florida. Short drop again. Cochran over the middle this time, and that is dangerously close to an interception. Nathan Barnett, I think, caught that ball in the abdomen. Pass intended for Stephen Bush, and now 3rd and long again for Florida.
215 pounds at cornerback. That's a big body there in the middle of the field, and it did hit off his body. And Sioux Falls is great in those press coverage type situations, and it helps account for those tipped balls and all those turnovers that they get.
And now bunch set here for Florida. A deep drop by Cochran. Throw it to the left side. That is caught, and that's going to be very close. They're saying he's short. E.J. Midson coming up with a catch, but he did not get to the marker. It's going to be 4th and 2. And this may be the first field goal attempt for Ethan Sneed in these SFL playoffs.
Yeah, it could depend. No, it looks like they're going to send out the offense here, Josh.
Oh, wow, they sure are. An offset eye. You could run or pass out of this set if they decide to run a play. Play clock down to 5.
Good discipline from the Sparrows.
And Cochran does call timeout with 6:52 left in the first half. And we'll see what Art Vandelay decides to do here. It looks like Cochran's going to have a seat on the bench.
Yeah, it'd be about a 51-yarder, Josh. And so I think, here in the open stadium, it really depends on the wind, would kind of help determine whether or not you send out kicker Ethan Sneed.
It looks like Sneed will be the one breaking the huddle here. You're right on that left hash, Steven. It looks like it's going to be just an elephant's earlobe over 50 yards. Sneed 23 for 24 on the season. Spot is down. Kick is up. It's got the leg. It's got the aim. It is good from 50 yards, and Florida's on the board.
Yeah, they can run him out there again and, add another 5 yards onto that. Ethan Sneed, what a leg on that one. My goodness.
All kinds of kick power. And that hit the net, and that hit the net deep. My goodness, that was probably 15 feet above the crossbar. Sneed in his 5th season with authority, getting Florida on the board at 17-3. Now it'll be up to Sioux Falls to answer here. And A.J. Levy will do so by running out of his own end zone. Up the middle to the right side. And is finally brought down at the 25-yard line by Adam Jones. You will see the occasional starter playing special teams here in the SFL. Coming up on the 8 p.m. Music Halftime Report, Cameron Irvine and Tim Hackett will break down the first half between the Storm and the Sparrows, plus preview the potential quarterfinal matchups for next weekend. It's all coming up on the 8 p.m. Music Halftime Report. Julian Tyree under center from his own 25-yard line. 3-step drop and will throw, and that is deflected. A tremendous play there. 2nd down.
Yeah, and Florida, I think, feeling the effects of getting some points on the board. Now their defense starting to show out a little bit and make some plays as the linebacker able to step up and knock that one down.
Alfredo Masonette, the backup outside linebacker, making that play. Very limited action for Masonette in the regular season. But coming up big there. Standard set here for Florida. GP Wells up the middle, breaks one tackle. And I thought he was dead to rights at the line of scrimmage. Instead, it's going to be 3rd and 3. Inspired short yardage run there by Wells.
Yeah, and keeps the legs moving and able to grind out a couple extra yards, makes this 3rd down a little more tolerable from the Sioux Falls 32-yard line.
And makes the Sioux Falls offense that much more unpredictable. They've been passing and throwing in nearly equal measure here. Tyree with a short drop. Oh, look out! That is a brutal hit from Alessandro Tamello. And Tyree just got a face full of Tamello. How'd you like that, friend?
Oh man, yeah, Tyree's got to get up and wipe off his jersey. He's got a whole lot of Tomello on his face right now, and that's sack number 8.5 on the year for this defensive end for the Storm.
And that will bring out Sioux Falls' first punt of the game. Sammy Prefontaine was probably ready to enjoy some halftime refreshment. Instead, he's got put away pressure from Florida. They managed to get it away. The fair catch for Blackwell at the 41 with just over 5.5 to play in the first half. It looks like Florida may have finally found a way to wrest momentum away from this stout Sparrows team playing at home.
Yeah, and they may have some extra assistance from this wonderful starting field position on this drive.
This is the best starting field position of the day. Cochran to Boletsky, nowhere to go. Shoulder tackled with authority at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and I like the idea of trying to get Boletsky going there on first down, but got to find a way to get down the field and keep pressure on this Sioux Falls defense, as they look like they're in control of the ball game right now, Josh.
Trips to the bottom of your screen. Cochran under center. Boletsky again, and Boletsky brought down as soon as he gets the ball. And you see his numbers staggering there. Biff Markham again. Steven, what a game Markham's having today.
Yeah, I mean, just on a line with these run plays, just all over the play, and that's twice that he's made a play in the backfield in this matchup, and it's having a heck of a game.
Cochran and shotgun on 3rd and 13. Under pressure, and it's nearly intercepted, but dropped. Thought for sure that was going to be Sioux Falls' first turnover of the game, but instead it's incomplete.
Yeah, and Ron Cochran's done that a couple of times in this ball game. Has to move around in the pocket to try to find that window, and makes a risky throw. I mean, that's good coverage from the Sparrows, and Cochran trusts his arm and his receiver, tries to squeeze it in there, and almost results in a turnover.
Derek Williams, the second-year outside linebacker, who had only one interception in the regular season, could have had a big one there. And instead, Florida will simply punt it away. And A.J. Levy will await. No pressure from the Sparrows. The kick is away. Levy from his own 15 makes the first defender miss, makes the second defender miss, the third, the fourth, and then finally brought down at the 29-yard line by number 30, Ramel Hernandez. And Steven, with 4.5 to play here in the first half, Sioux Falls could elect to run it out or maybe put up another quick touchdown. What do you think we'll see here?
Yeah, I think GP Wells going to get a couple of touches here early in this drive, but I want to give a shout out to AJ Levy on that last punt return. 14 yards doesn't sound like a lot, but it does a lot for your offense when you start out at the 30 instead of the 16.
Very true. Wells on the swing pass there, nothing doing. Crowd by Ryan Davidson. And both of these teams stout veteran defensive secondaries, although Florida may have the edge. Ryan Davidson in his 9th season, Andrew Francis in his 10th season, Evan Carroll in his 11th SFL season. Wells again around the right side, has the blocking. Has the first down. Spin move there. And it's going to be very close to midfield. The clock continues to run, less than 4 minutes remaining here as GP Wells tiptoes into Florida territory.
Yeah, Sioux Falls one in the trenches there, Josh. Just great blocking, man on man, and Sioux Falls did their job, and GP Wells is the beneficiary of a great run and a nice spin move there to finish off that play. And Sioux Falls again, now here right at midfield once again is their offense. When they get on the field, they're hard to get off.
Charlemagne Cornelius back in the game at fullback alongside Wells. Florida showing pressure at the line. Tyree, short drop, throws to his left. That is caught. And that might have been Cornelius. On the catch, it sure was. The fullback, who had only 21 catches in his 3-year career, comes up with a reception in this game.
Yeah, Tyree continuing to find new receivers, new targets to get involved in the ball game. Josh, I remember a game that I called not long ago where he had involved like 7 or 8, or it was like 9 different receivers. He basically got through all the receivers on the roster in one ball game. So Tyree, again, not afraid to show the love to whoever is open.
Wells up the middle is going to get stopped short of the marker. It's 3rd and 2. Wells nearing the 100-yard mark already. And we are still 2.5 minutes away from the intermission. Tremendous first half for the rookie. Wells again. Nowhere to go. Corralled behind the line of scrimmage. And once again, Alfredo Masonette, a guy whose name I don't think we may have called at all during the regular season, coming up with a big stop there, and it's 4th and 1.
Yeah, Florida in these 4-3 defense, this base 4-3 defense that they're getting into, and when Florida tries, or I'm sorry, when Sioux Falls gets into those running sets, they've been doing very well in that defense.
We'll have the punt after the 2-minute warning. You're watching the SFL playoffs presented by APM Music on Next Level Sports. SFL playoffs in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Josh Zirkle, Stephen Hacker in the booth. Justin Reside and Liam in the stats truck. Thank you, gentlemen. Cameron Irvine producing. Sammy Prefontaine with only his second punt of the game, and this one might be a doozy. If they could down it before touching the goal line, and they do, it'll be Florida's ball at the 4-yard line. Prefontaine, that's what passes for excitement for Sammy Prefontaine.
And on a similar note, AJ Levy, when in a similar position on special teams, fielded that punt and had a decent return, whereas Justice Blackwell let that one bounce, and now Florida backed up at their own 4-yard line, Josh.
Absolutely. And now Charlie Boletsky standing in his own end zone to start first down. He gets the call, but has nowhere to go. It's going to be no gain on 2nd and 10. And fascinating stat here on Boletsky, Stephen. 7 carries for 33 yards in the game, but his longest run was 37. So take out the 37-yard run, and you're looking at 6 runs for -4 yards. That is absolutely astounding containment by this Sioux Falls defense. Boletsky again has some room on the left side, will drag a defender toward the marker. He's still going to be short, 3rd and 1. And Florida seems content to just let this clock run out and head to the locker room with a 14-point deficit, Stephen.
It'd be really interesting to see if they come out in a little aggressive set, something that they can quickly huddle back into and try to run a no-huddle offense down the field. I don't think that this would be one that they want. We'll see if they maybe burn a timeout after this play.
Sioux Falls not calling timeout either. Boletsky has a first down, and we could probably forget about that aspect of things.
Yep. They do look like they're going to go conservative here, Josh, and maybe not the worst idea. Cochran has felt the pressure here in this ball game. Really hasn't had any windows to throw into, as Sioux Falls has played almost perfect defense here in the first half.
The offense has not been too shabby either, Steven. Cochran will actually throw the ball here, and that is caught. Blackwell is going to get a reception, and now we see the hurry up.
Good set to do it in. Yeah, it's perfect. They got exactly what they were looking for on that one.
A little bit of a surprise. Cochran will throw again, another first down, and now a timeout. And we may be in Hail Mary range for Ron Cochran, who has seen some protection issues from his offensive line so far.
Yeah, but here on that Hail Mary attempt, I know Cochran would love an opportunity to show off his arm, and E.J. Minson has to be itching for a reception here in this game. And with the spotlight on, I know Minson's going to try to go up and make a play here before we go into the half.
Cochran 11 of 17 in the first half so far. 82 yards. Nothing to speak of in the touchdown or interception ledgers. It looks like Cochran's going to let one rip. If he's got time, he does. And that will not quite get to the end zone. It'll be an interception. And Sioux Falls and A.J. Levy technically come up with their first turnover of the game, though it's for naught as we reach the intermission.
Yeah, Levy played that ball perfectly, knew what was coming. Everybody in the stadium knew what was coming up, and Levy just played it perfectly as center field was there for him, and steals one away regardless of we feel it's insignificant or not.
Sioux Falls leading Florida 17-3, and what we agree, Stephen, has been a near perfect half of football from Sioux Falls. But give me your bigger take overall on the first half of the anchor leg of the SFL playoff game.
I think G.P. Wells is what I thought he put on the performance that I was expecting Boletsky to put on, and absolutely dominated the first half. Sioux Falls defense doing what Sioux Falls defense does, but I think really the game changer for overall for this game has been G.P. Wells and the absence of Bullet Boletsky.
Yeah, Boletsky just nowhere to be seen. He's been swallowed up by the Sioux Falls defense, and this is a guy who is just going to erupt in the second half. He's not a player that you can keep down for 4 quarters full of football. I've been very impressed with Julian Tyree and the Sioux Falls receiving core. Every receiver has a target. Every receiver has a reception. Tyree, a perfect 14 for 14. And I can only wonder how much longer Sioux Falls can keep this going. And this is a good offense, but they are playing great football right now. Simply outstanding. Sputtered a little bit toward the end. Scored on their first 2 drives of the game, and then the Zashville Black field goal made it 17-0. And then the last couple of drives ended in punts, but they are still moving the ball. They are still getting G.P. Wells in open spaces. They're meeting all their offensive objectives, even if they've had a couple of drives stall out late in the first half. We'll have the second half coming up after the 8 p.m. Music halftime show. Don't miss that. We're going to break. You're watching SFL Playoffs on Next Level Sports. Welcome back, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, for the 5-12 matchup, the last leg of the SFL wildcard round. Here in the postseason, Josh Circle, Stephen Hacker in the booth. Liam and Justin Reside doing stats. Cameron Override producing. AJ Levy returning to the 29-yard line, and Sioux Falls will start the third quarter with the football. Stephen Hacker.
Yeah, and Sioux Falls, I think, coming out of the tunnels, I don't expect them to want to change a whole lot. Just keep GP Wells involved and frequently and often, and just keep pounding the rock and keep the clock moving and move your way through this game as you've got a nice lead.
Wells, 99 yards from scrimmage in the first half. And that short run there will officially put him over the century mark. And you see the comparison there. 2nd and 8.
And Florida, the team really, sorry, Josh, Florida, the team really having to make the adjustments as Sioux Falls came out and really played the perfect first half. And I think they feel confident that they can do it here in the second half as well.
Tyree over the middle. That is complete. And another first down, and this Sioux Falls offense seems to be picking up right where they left off.
Yeah, Florida's really going to have to find a way to slow down, and somebody's going to have to step up and make a play and really spark some energy for this Storm defense.
Tyree under center now, offset eye with a fresh set of downs. Florida runs a bit of a twist. Wells with a catch. It's got to make the adjustment, and that is going to cost him yardage. As Ryan Tobin, the 9th-year veteran, drags actually Charlemagne Cornelius out of bounds. My apologies, folks. I'm having a heck of a time with these black-on-black numbers.
And I really like what Florida did there, though, Josh. They brought some pressure. They tried to blitz and getting creative with where the pressure is coming from, trying to get Tyree off his rhythm. And I like what Florida's trying to do there.
Now the power eye twins the top of your screen. Wells needs a block but cannot get it. Stephen Black coming up with a big stop there. Trying to ride the GP Wells Express. And now an unusual situation for Sioux Falls. 3rd and long on their own end of the field.
Yeah, and Florida really needs to pay attention to the all slants. They've got good coverage. They're lined up in a press, but here comes the all slants, and they need to step up and make a play.
And there it is, the all slants, but Florida was ready. And once again, Christian Paul being called into service, the backup quarterback, and coming up with a pass deflection will end the Sioux Falls drive, and that'll bring on Sammy Prefontaine.
Yeah, and that's what that man coverage will do for you. It'll help in those all slant situations. And Florida was able to do a nice job, got a hand up, tipped it away, and got Sioux Falls' offense off the field. Now, checkbox number 1 for the Storm. Now they're going to get the ball, and they got to get their offense moving down the field.
No pressure from Florida on the punt. Blackwell from his own 15. Oh, hello. How do you do as he has seated at the Florida 18-yard line. Tremendous hit by J.J. McGee, the backup tight end. And that will be an auspicious start to Florida's first drive of the second half. We talked about a little bit of field position at the break, Stephen. Florida has been having slightly worse, and it seems to be getting worse. I think this is the worst starting field position for either team, except for Sioux Falls start at the beginning of the game at the 14-yard line. Cochran with a short drop to the right side, and making the adjustment is Bush. And you see the numbers there on Stephen Bush. A modest gain will make it 2nd and 8.
Yeah, and Bush really doing a lot of the dirty work for the Storm offense here in this ball game. A lot of the short and intermediate routes there near the sidelines, and has been a reliable target for Cochran in this.
Now a spread look for Florida. Zaleski in Cochran's hip pocket. Throwing over the middle. That is caught a low ball. Minson makes a nice adjustment and is able to get first down yardage.
Yeah, and been waiting to call E.J. Minson's name. Only one reception in this ball game so far, and finally gets involved here in the second half, and it's a big play, moves the chains, and that's what you expect from him. He really is a spark for this Storm offense. So I expect Cochran to look his way a little bit more here in the third quarter.
Minson has been a dynamite performer in the regular season. 58 catches, 6 touchdowns. Had 8 catches just a week ago in the regular season finale against Charleston. 2 scores in that game as well. Stephen Bush at the sideline has a gain of 5. And the last time Stephen Bush played Sioux Falls, it was in season 16. 6 catches, 177 yards, and a score in a game that Sioux Falls eventually won. But you know, Stephen Bush was licking his chops heading into this matchup. And now 2 tight ends, Zarkov and Pauly Truth, the number 2 tight end, both in the game. And here goes Boletsky. And Boletsky with a spin move. A bit gratuitous when you consider the hole that he had, but it's a first down nonetheless. The clock continues to run as we get deeper here into the third quarter.
That's a very, very comfortable Florida offense right now. Moving around through their formations freely, getting wide receivers on and off the field, getting their star players involved. Now here another different formation for the Storm.
Now a bunch set. Cochran, a short drop, goes to Boletsky the other way. Can he make some room for himself? Apparently not, as he is stopped after a gain of a few yards, actually 4 yards. That's sort of in between pretty good play and not so great play. But I think any offense would take 4 yards on first down anytime, 2nd and 6.
Yeah, I think it's something you can live with. It's not, it's not the most optimal, but it's definitely better. It's better than a 2nd and 10. You know what I mean?
Cochran over the middle. Minson again on the slant, and that's going to be another first down. And Florida making perhaps their first conceded, persistent attempt toward the end zone in this game.
Yeah, and really found something there with Minson on that post route as Cochran's gone to it twice, and it's having really good success so far.
And they're using a lot of different formations to get him open as well. And there's a throw to the right side. And that was very close to a late hit, and I do see a flag on the field. It's Vernon and Zarkov, lone receiver on that side of the field, is going to pick up a free 15 yards at the hands of a Sioux Falls penalty.
Yeah, you gotta contain yourself a little bit better than that. The extra eyes on the field here. The pressure is that much more. It's the SFL playoffs, and the referees are gonna have to call that. He's down, and it's just a little unnecessary to pile on top of the player like that.
Derek Williams, who dropped an interception in the first half, now flagged for unnecessary roughness, and it's a free 15 yards, and that's going to drop Florida right into field goal range. And the lefty, Cochran, dealing to the right side of the field. And that is another catch, and Florida inching closer to their first touchdown of the game. Stephen Bush.
Yeah, Bush again, just doing that the intermediate, the short routes, and working there on the sideline. And Cochran is just feeding him the ball on the right side, and it's worked so far, getting them down the field now, a 2nd and 4.
9th play of the drive coming up here. Boletsky in the backfield by his lonesome. Spread look for Florida. A 4-3 defensive set for Sioux Falls. Short drop for Cochran. Hit as he's thrown. They're going to call it incomplete. Though I did not see a hand go forward on that. Ray West, who came out of retirement for season 18, credited with the pressure.
Yeah, and he brings a veteran presence to this Sparrows defensive line and makes a big play there on Cochran, forcing that incompletion.
And everyone on the field just understood it was incomplete, too. You didn't see anybody try and dive on the ball. They had a much different perspective than we did in the booth. Cochran again to the right side this time. And that is caught. And that is J.W. Doyle making his first catch of the game. And the fullback delivers a fresh set of downs to his offense.
Yeah, J.W. Doyle knows when to get involved in ball games, and here in the playoffs makes his presence felt, diving forward to get that first down. And Florida's going to have a chance, Josh, to get another first down if they can, if they need it. They can get down to the 2 and resets and get 3-4 more attempts if they need it.
And that may change the dynamics of the play calling here. Short drop by Cochran. Minson makes the adjustment and cannot turn upfield and is out of bounds at the 9. It's going to be 2nd and 7, and Florida inching closer and closer to the goal line. Boletsky has improved his numbers significantly. 10 carries, 58 yards. He did rip off an early run. We would have seen his total in negative yardage had he not earlier in the game. Cochran toward the end zone. That is caught. Justice Blackwell, touchdown. Florida's on the board now in double digits pending the extra point.
And that was a huge reception from Justice Blackwell. Took a shot in the end zone, double coverage, but just an absolute laser thrown by Ron Cochran. And Justice Blackwell gives his team a chance to get back in this ball game, closing the gap.
And a magnificent drive by Florida. 12 plays, 88 yards. Remember, starting this drive well into the shadow of their own goalpost. And now, pending the extra point, it will be a 7-point game. Spot is down, kick is up. It is good. We've got a ball game, folks. Sioux Falls gets the ball when we come back. You're watching the SFL playoffs, presented by APM Music on Next Level Sports. Simulation Football League playoffs on Next Level Sports. Finishing off the wild card round here with Sioux Falls in Florida. Josh Zirkle, Stephen Hacker in the booth. Justin and Liam in the truck. Thank you, gentlemen. Doing stats. Cameron Irvine producing. And AJ Levy returning the kickoff out to the 24-yard line. With just over 5 minutes to play here in the third quarter. And what has been a dynamite game so far. Sioux Falls jumping out to an early lead, but Florida finally finding their sea legs, if you will, on the offensive side. And Sioux Falls looking to answer. GP Wells getting him the football is a great way to do that. 4 yards on the swing pass to start the drive. It'll be 2nd and 6, Stephen Hacker.
Yeah, leading the SFL in receptions, and Sioux Falls not going away from their game plan. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And you got to the playoffs with that formula and continuing to use it here with the lead in this ballgame.
Charlemagne Cornelius, the fullback, checking back in. And a 2-wide set here for Sioux Falls. Wells gets the call again. He's going to be short of the marker. 3rd and 3. Ryan Davidson, the cornerback, coming in to make that tackle. And you will see this Florida defense, specifically the secondary, flying in to make those tackles on GP Wells or whoever the opposing running back happens to be. And now twins to the bottom of your screen. Tyree out of the shotgun, throwing to his left this time. That is caught, and that's good for a fresh set of downs. Adrian Blaine, the rookie, making the stop for Florida.
And the rookie showing that, you got to buy into the culture. Defensive backs in Florida got to be willing to make tackles, and Adrian Blaine steps up and makes a tackle there.
Sioux Falls has punted on their previous 3 possessions. Looking to get off the schneid here on this drive. Charlemagne Cornelius will stay in the game. Both backs stay in the block. Unleashing the dragon, and that is picked off. Florida coming up with their first turnover. And at just the right time, it's Evan Carroll.
And what a great play from the veteran Evan Carroll as Tyree finally takes a shot down the field, and Carroll is all over it. Eyes in the backfield the entire time, makes a great break on the ball, jumps right in front of the receiver, and then the hesitation to allow the blockers to develop down the field is another veteran move from this defensive back.
Yeah, he was oddly calm after coming up with that interception, and then had the presence of mind to pause and look for holes. You don't often see that. And now what is easily the best starting position on the field for Florida. Cochran's going to take over at his Sioux Falls 40-yard line. And Justice Blackwell will get the first catch of this drive.
Yeah, Blackwell really feeling pretty good in this game after having that touchdown reception. And Cochran continuing to look over his direction. And as long as he keeps making catches like that, I don't think he's going to look anywhere else.
And Cochran has done a fair job of spreading the ball around. Stephen Bush leading the team, leading both teams, as a matter of fact, with 7 catches in this game. J.W. Doyle checking back in at fullback. Cochran throwing for Boletsky. And Boletsky's up the field, tries to make a defender miss, but is brought down, but not before getting a fresh set of downs. That's A.J. Levy on the stop.
And getting closer and closer to the SFL red zone here, Josh, and Florida really in the second half has kind of taken over momentum in this ball game.
A.J. Levy, 3rd all-time in tackles, 5th in passes deflected. Ooh. And we have a pass deflected there. Cochran trying to get back to Blackwell, but nothing doing. And that looks like Nathan Barnett, who got the PD on that play. 2nd and 10.
And that was an in-drive adjustment you saw from the Sioux Falls Sparrows earlier in this drive. That out route has been open, and Sioux Falls puts a defender over there, kind of waiting in the flats, and almost made a play on that ball.
And now 5 wide receivers on the field for Florida. Cochran looking to deal here, going over the middle, and that is caught, and that will get Florida into the red zone for sure. Justice Blackwell.
Yeah, really, gaining the trust of Ron Cochran. Justice Blackwell continuing to get fed here in the 3rd quarter and moving the ball down the field, threatening to score maybe his 2nd touchdown of the ballgame.
And by our count, Blackwell leading all receivers with 45 yards from scrimmage. And now Minson, the only wideout in the game. Doyle in the offset eye. Cochran throws to Boletsky. Boletsky to the 10, to the 5, and dragged down inside the 5. It's going to be 1st and goal.
Yeah, and that's a screen play. Boletsky outran his offensive lineman, and that's the defender that made the touchdown-saving tackle. A little bit impatient from Boletsky, but I can't blame him. When he saw pay dirt in front of him, I don't blame him for trying to turn on the Jets and get into the end zone.
And now Florida will have 3 tries to punch it in from the 2-yard line. Pauly Truth back in the game, and a twin tight end set. Boletsky up the middle. Touchdown! The bullet strikes again, and we're an extra point away from a tie game.
And Bullet Boletsky doing what he needs to do, finishing off these drives. Cochran moved the ball methodically down the field, and there with some fresh legs, able to finish that drive off. doing exactly what Florida Storm needs to get back in this ballgame. Now just an extra point away from tying this one up, Josh.
Boletsky, as sure a bet as there is in this league of cashing in from short yardage, had 3 tries to do it from the 2 and only needed 1. As Ethan Sneed set for the extra point, it is good. And Sioux Falls has just watched a 17-0 lead evaporate here in the third quarter.
Yeah, all that hard work, all that perfect game plan from the first half has quickly deteriorated into a 0, a tie ball game. And, Sioux Falls really hasn't made the proper adjustments. Florida has done well coming out of the tunnels into the second half and countered what Sioux Falls is doing. And Sioux Falls really hasn't picked up from their momentum from the first half at all.
AJ Levy up the middle of the field, down at the 27. The SFL has partnered with Rare Drop and Rare Drop Sports to advance live events and distribution, live and in-person championship weekends, rookie drafts, and community events are in the works. Visit raredrop.co for more info. And follow Rare Drop Sports on Twitch at twitch.tv/RD Sports. Very excited about that relationship with Rare Drop. GP Wells on the left side on a swing pass. Great first down yardage, but not quite to the marker. 2nd and 1. You see the quarterback comparison there, Steven. And Tyree, as proficient as that offense was in the first half, he was not really taking a lot of chances throwing the ball down the field, and obviously did not until we saw the interception earlier in the game.
Yeah, and I think that's what Tyree likes to do. He's going to take the safe option until he feels that the defense has given him a shot down the field.
Wells producing chicken salad on that first down. And Sioux Falls wisely going back to their bread and butter as they try to answer the touchdown from Florida. 1st and 10. Now trips to the bottom of your screen. 5 defensive backs on the field for Florida. Play action. Tyree throw it to his left. That is caught. And again, a gain for 9 yards on first down. It's K. Marion coming up with the catch.
And a nice route there, just short of the marker, but a consistent throw there from Tyree, and that's a great, again, another second one for the Sparrows coming out on this drive, and it gives you two opportunities to get that first down, and it's such a great start to your set, your first down.
Absolutely. This will be the last play of the third quarter. GP Wells will get into Florida territory. And you see almost a sigh of relief as Wells celebrates a short yardage run. May I have some 4s in chat, please? One of these teams is going to the semifinal round. One of these teams is going home. You're watching the SFL playoffs presented by APM Music on Next Level Sports. SFL playoff action, wild card round here at Sioux Falls. Tied at 17 here in the fourth quarter. And that is a huge play by Ryan Davidson as we come out of break. Josh Circle, Stephen Hacker in the booth. Liam and Justin Reside on stats today. Thank you, gentlemen. Cameron Irvine producing. Tim Hackett just sitting around looking real smart and pretty. Stephen, what do you think about this 17-point comeback that Florida's made in this game? They were down 17-zip, managed a field goal before the half, and have somehow clawed their way back into this game to make it 17-all.
Yeah, I think, like we were talking about in the break, it starts with keeping Ron Cochran upright, giving him better windows to throw through. And he's no stranger to making good throws when given the opportunity. So that's allowed them to kind of fight and claw their way back into it. And the defensive backs for the Storm have come up huge for this defense, and they've kept Sioux Falls in some unmanageable third down situations by coming up and playing their target at the line of scrimmage.
Julian Tyree with a big completion there. Tyree only 2 incompletions on the game. One of those, an interception to Evan Carroll, which culminated in a Charlie Boletsky TD. And we must have blinked when the other one happened because I don't remember it. He has been that good all day. And now getting Sioux Falls on their way to another touchdown with just over 10 minutes to play in regulation. Tyree in the shotgun. Charlemagne Cornelius checks back in. Twins to the bottom of your screen. Both backs stay in the block, and that's another completion. K. Marion out to the near sideline. It's going to be 2nd and 2.
Yeah, and you have to feel really good about that matchup there on the bottom of the screen. As Florida came out in a base 4-3 defense, you've got twins to the left side of the field, so your wide receivers create an imbalance, and K. Marion is wide open there on the sideline, gets 8 yards.
And Sioux Falls not wasting any time to protect Julian Tyree either, as Cornelius and Wells both stayed in the block. Wells up the middle this time, has the first down, but not much else as he is met very unpleasantly by Alessandro Tomello. But we'll get the ball to the 12 for a fresh set of downs. Now about 7 tight ends in the game here for Sioux Falls as Wells goes up the middle and is rebuffed in a most unpleasant way by Rhett Sawyer, the 8th-year defensive tackle. 2nd and 11.
Yeah, great win in the trenches for the Storm there as Sioux Falls going with trying to overload the Storm defense, and it didn't pay off. And it looks like Sioux Falls is going to try to do it again.
And they're going to stay in the same set. Not a single wide receiver on the field. 3 tight ends, and they're going to throw to Wells. Wells, can he make a defender miss? To the 10, 5, he's in, touchdown! Sioux Falls retakes the lead.
And used that overload set perfectly. Got GP Wells out into space, had blockers there, and what a second effort as he had to spin and fight his way into the end zone. But Sioux Falls going to regain the lead here at home, Josh, and it's probably just at the right time. But Florida now up against the wall, going to have to respond in a big way as as Sioux Falls with their home crowd behind them and their tough defense is going to be a tough matchup here with only 8.5 minutes to go.
Absolutely. Zashtel Black looking to make it a 7-point lead here with just over 8.5 to play in regulation. And Florida, who had found success throwing over the middle of the field, to Justice Blackwell and E.J. Minson, will try to do it again here on the other side of this break. Can the Storm march back at Sioux Falls? You'll find out next. You're watching the SFL Playoffs presented by APM Music on Next Level Sports. SFL playoff action. We're wrapping up wild card weekend. Sioux Falls hosting Florida. They have just retaken the lead 24-17 with 8:38 to play. And Justice Blackwell running back this kickoff out to the 29-yard line. Sioux Falls opened the game with a 17-0 lead. Florida marched back, scoring 17 unanswered. And now Sioux Falls answers that unanswering with a GP Wells touchdown reception. And now it's up to Florida and Ron Cochran at quarterback to present an answer of their own. And Ron Cochran will get into shotgun formation here on 1st and 10. Throwing against the Sioux Falls secondary. And that is a big drop there. And that is Sylvester Truitt, the number 5 wide receiver in this offense. An interesting selection there for Cochran. 2nd and 10, Stephen Hacker.
Yeah, you know, Cochran just looking for the open receiver, and Truitt, when your number is called, you gotta help your quarterback out. And an unfortunate drop there on 1st down for the Storm.
And now just one wide receiver on the field. I believe that's Midson toward the bottom of your screen. Cochran, the lefty, deals again, and that is nearly intercepted, and a drop this time from the defense. It's John Barnhart who cannot come up with the pick.
Yeah, and you're used to seeing Sioux Falls take those away, and a bunch of missed opportunities for the Sparrows in this game. But Cochran continuing to take these shots down the field, and I like the aggressiveness, and that's what's going to help keep them in this ball game.
We talked a lot about the Sioux Falls secondary because they are that good. Can they be good here on 3rd and 10? Cochran unleashing the dragon, and that one is picked off. Sioux Falls comes with their 2nd interception of the game, and Rod Cochran is despondent.
Yeah, that's tough. Jay Ringgold's the defender that gets back there, the free safety playing center field, goes up, takes that one away. 2 Storm receivers in the area, and Cochran just trusts that one of them was going to come down with it, but Ringgold steals one away. And Florida's defense now really has the task of taking this away. Whether it's a stop or a turnover, Florida's defense has all the pressure in the world on them right now.
And this may be the best starting field position Sioux Falls has had in this game. Handing off to Wells on 1st down. And you could feel the momentum carrying GP Wells up the field despite the efforts of Alexandro Tomello. A stop that probably should have been ending the play at the line of scrimmage is a gain for 4 yards as Wells reaches midfield. And now 2nd and 6. Beg your pardon. And now a fresh set of downs here for Sioux Falls as Tyree completes to Dillapre Sr. on the right side of the field.
Yeah, it's Stephen Black, the linebacker, having to get out there in coverage on the sideline, and that's a big ask for the linebacker to go out there and cover a wide receiver. Probably explained why Dillapre had so much room to make that reception.
Twins to the top of your screen now. Florida showing blitz. They do not. Tyree to the right side again. That is caught. And stumbling out of bounds that time is Kay Marion. Marion, a very busy lady. Reception number 6. I beg your pardon. That might have been Dillapre Sr. once again.
Yeah, and Tyree just continuing to just take what the defense has given him as he, will go through his maybe first 1 or 2 progressions. And then whenever there's nobody there, he just immediately hits his check down and will just take whatever the defense has given him.
And there's another check down and another 1st down. This time it is Dillapre Sr. Coming up with a catch there. 7:04 left in regulation as the clock stops as Dillapre Sr. heads out of bounds.
And Sioux Falls look to be calm and collected again here at home as Florida was, storming back in the 3rd quarter. And the Sparrows have really regained control of this ball game as they're just working their way down the field, and Florida doesn't quite seem to have an answer.
Tyree, 1-step drop to the left this time. Another completion. And that time it is Kay Marion. 2nd and 7. The Badger fight still going strong here. Late in the 4th quarter in Sioux Falls.
Yeah, playoff football at its finest right now. Two, very, very experienced teams in the SFL, trying to keep their playoff lineage, rich and healthy. And a win against either one of these teams means a whole lot during the regular season, but in the playoffs, it could mean that much more. And just because Florida's a 12 seed coming in, again, they're, won a couple, 3 championships. They're a tough team. They've been to a bunch of championship. They've made a bunch of championship appearances. I mean, beating either one of these two teams is no easy task, and this game has been a perfect example of that. It's been back and forth. Both teams are throwing punches, and it's been a great game.
And it's worth mentioning again that every team that's played this weekend finished the regular season 7-5. That includes obviously Florida and Sioux Falls. An absolute logjam that kept 6-6 Las Vegas out of the playoffs as GP Wells gets into the red zone with now less than 6 minutes to play.
Yeah, and really just trying to control the clock. GP Wells having a tremendous game, a playoff debut for him, and he's absolutely carrying the workload here for the Sparrows. 126 yards for the running back, and is absolutely carrying the load for this offense.
Wells again up the middle this time, corralled by Ryan Davidson. After just a few yards, it looked like Wells had a pretty good hole in there as well until Davidson came up to fill it, 2nd and 7.
These defensive backs really have had their fair share of tackles in this ball game, and I think that's a testament to their effort and commitment to it. As Florida's out here in a nickel defense, and when you're going to run a nickel defense like they are, your defensive backs have to be willing to step up and make some tackles.
Max protect for Tyree, throwing to the right side, another catch. Just short of the marker. It's going to be 3rd and short now. Dillapre Sr. on the sideline.
And again, not taking too many risks here. The Sparrows just working their way down the field. Whatever the defense is going to give Tyree, that's where he's going to go. And, no risk yet. We'll see if when the Sparrows are going to elect to take that shot. Free play here, Josh.
5 minutes to play. Flag on the play. Wells will get to the marker anyway. And with the line of scrimmage inside of 10, that might be a half the distance situation. They may take that catch and run from Wells. We'll see. The call is on Alessandro Tomello for encroachment. APM Music is unrivaled music to bring your stories to life, inspiring every production with the world's most robust and constantly refreshed music collection, state-of-the-art technology, and world-class customer service. To explore their library and to find the perfect tracks for your projects, visit apmmusic.com. Sioux Falls about to play some sweet music of their own, hopefully. As Tyree hands off to Wells up the middle. Wells to the 2, down at the 1. It'll be 2nd and goal. And the clock running with less than 5 minutes remaining.
Yeah, and Alex Dominguez somehow from the bottom of the trench is able to grab a hold of GP Wells and drag him down just short of the goal line. Looks like Florida's going to be in the goal line again here, Josh.
And the Florida offense on the sideline watching that clock drip away. And Sioux Falls and Julian Tyree taking their time before running a play here. Throwing to Wells. And Wells fights through the tackle and is in the end zone. Touchdown. Sioux Falls extends their lead.
And Wells just overpowers there on the outside as the Florida Storm defense has played well. They're in the flats. They've stepped up and made play after play in the flats, but this time GP Wells gets the better of Ryan Davidson and is able to get in for 6 points and extend this lead again. Sioux Falls has to be feeling somewhat comfortable here with a 13-point lead with only 4 minutes left in this game.
Zashtel Black looking to make it a 14-point lead. And I would suggest that not too much comfort is warranted. Against a Florida offense that's going to be eager to get back on the field here. The extra point is up and good. And the lead is 31-17. Coverage of the Simulation Football League on Next Level Sports continues next weekend with a pair of quarterfinal doubleheaders at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. You won't want to miss all the top teams this season in action defending their home turf, including title favorites Vancouver and Baltimore. Visit NLSE.com to find Next Level Sports in your area. And if you're watching this right now, Next Level Sports is in your area. Justice Blackwell trying to improve his area out to the 26-yard line. And he looks up at the scoreboard. He sees 4 minutes and 15 seconds. And that's how long Florida has to amass 14 points to stay in this game and to at least take it to overtime. Ron Cochran under center now. The 10th-year SFL veteran throwing to his left, and that is batted and dropped. E.J. Minson got a fingertip on it. John Barnhart got a fingertip on it. Nobody gets it. Second down.
Yeah, and going with the big play receiver, trying to spark something here is I think Florida would like to get some points on the board in a hurry. And I think the play design was nice, but just an unfortunate timing there. And they'll live to fight another down here. Looks like to be in the same formation, though, here, Josh.
Yes, it does. Bunch set to the bottom of your screen. Bolesky in the backfield by his lonesome. Deep drop for Cochran. Bolesky stays in the block. And good thing he did, as Cochran able to get it to Blackwell, which brings up 3rd and 4.
And he had, I thought Cochran had E.J. Minson at the top of the screen on a fly route, wide open. It looked like Minson had him beat off the line, but I guess Cochran maybe missed him as he was over there looking at the bunch at the bottom of the screen, but a bit of a missed opportunity.
And now empty set. Cochran in the shotgun, throwing over the middle there. That is deflected. And Sioux Falls coming up with another stop. Nathan Barnett coming up with the deflection and saying, no, sir. It's 4th down.
And this record-setting defense has played tremendously here in this ball game. I mean, I know Florida had a great third quarter, but outside of that, Sioux Falls' defense has just been all over the field, making great plays, and tipped that one away, almost another interception.
The Sioux Falls defense had 46 takeaways in the regular season. That was a SFL record, obviously the tops for this season. But if you look at the Sioux Falls secondary, just the defensive backs and safeties by themselves, their 40 turnovers would also have led the league. Something for Ron Cochran to think about as he goes for it on 4th down, and that is caught! And they're going to hurry up as E.J. Minson tries to get off his back and line up. Less than 4 minutes to play. Cochran, short drop over the middle again. It's a floater, but it's a catch. And Florida will hurry up again. Jose Galliano on the catch. Cochran continuing to milk the middle of the field against the Sioux Falls defense, and E.J. Minson comes up with the catch there, his second of the drive. Sioux Falls on the twist. Cochran over the middle again. That is batted down, intended for Stephen Bush. And that will stop the clock with 3 minutes and 21 seconds remaining in regulation.
Yeah, and these receivers have to be gassed after that sequence of plays there, Josh, is, having to go into the hurry up that many times. But Minson did a great job, was getting bumped up there in a fight with John Barnhart at the top of the screen. And it was a good matchup there, watching those 3 or 4 plays go by and Barnhart and Minson fight it out.
And now only 3 wideouts on the screen. J.W. Doyle checking into the game as well. And there's a big catch and a big first down for Florida once again. And they go back to the hurry up. 2 backs here, so they could go max protect potentially, and they do for Cochran there. A sliding catch by Blackwell, and he's down just outside of the red zone. Clock continues to run, less than 3 minutes remaining. Cochran again facing a blitz, and that is batted away incomplete. Great coverage there by Sioux Falls' Nathan Barnett. And deflecting it away.
Yeah, they're going to continue to use that man, that press coverage to apply pressure, and it's worked out perfectly for them all night long as they're matching up very well with these Florida receivers.
And now a lot of cushion here. And you can see where the line to gain is, and the cushion is almost double that. Cochran has time over the middle again, and it's off. And it didn't look like it went straight into the hands of the receiver, but that is interception number 3. And who else but A.J. Levy coming up with the ball?
Yes, this veteran captain safety for the Sparrows just waits for the deflection and knows what to do with it. Just sees where the ball's going in the tip drill. That's something that you can practice and work on, but it's really an art. And A.J. Levy just perfected it in his time in the SFL, and Stills went away from the Storm as they were just inches away, really fighting to get into the end zone there. And Sioux Falls is able to steal it back and keep the momentum on their side.
Career interception number 68 for the 13-year veteran A.J. Levy, as G.P. Wells gets a nice gain on first down to make it 2nd and 3.
And they're going to use this rookie running back to close out this game as best they can here. Josh is, going to continue to get the carries, and when you're getting 7 yards on first down, I would continue to give him the workload.
21 carries, 9 receptions, 30 touches in some. Over 200 yards from scrimmage, 3 touchdowns. G.P. Wells has been carrying this team with his performance today, so why not for another 2 minutes and 8 seconds? Tyree will throw a contested ball to Wells, and that was dangerous because Ryan Davidson was right there. That's going to make it 3rd and 3, and it's going to stop the clock before the 2-minute warning.
I think Davidson's a little upset after Wells scored that last touchdown there on him. Gets out and absolutely commits to Wells there on the screen and almost came away with an interception. Great defense.
Davidson was on the coverage, but he was probably as surprised as we were that Tyree decided to throw him the ball. It was extremely well covered. But Tyree lives to throw another day here on 3rd and 3. Has time, and there's no more time. Down he goes. Rhett Sawyer coming up with a stop. And that will get us to the 2-minute warning. Florida's going to get the ball back, but do they have enough time? We'll find out at the other end of this break. You're watching the SFL Playoffs, presented by APM Music on Next Level Sports. SFL playoffs from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Wrapping up a wild card weekend. Pressure on the punt, but Stanley Prefontaine gets it away. Justice Blackwell with a fair catch near midfield. Thank you for joining us on the anchor leg of the Simulation Football League's wild card weekend. First round of the playoffs. Josh Zirkle, Stephen Hacker in the booth. Liam and Justin Reeside on stats. Cameron Irvine producing. Tim Hackett sitting around doing nothing. Sioux Falls jumped out to a 17-0 lead. Florida came back to answer, and Sioux Falls has added 14 points since that 17-17 tie. Ron Cochran running out of time, but not running out of ammo. Makes a completion over there to get into plus territory, and the clock continues to run. 1:40 left. Cochran under pressure, and down he goes. A huge sack for Sioux Falls. And the clock continues to run, Stephen Hacker.
Yeah, great play there again from the Sioux Falls defensive line, stepping up and making big plays behind the line of scrimmage.
Cochran over the middle this time, deflected, and falls incomplete. Any one of 4 Sioux Falls defenders had a chance to bring that one in, and they all know it.
And so a very, very critical 3rd and 18. It's 4-down territory, Josh, no matter how you slice it. So you don't have to get it all 18 yards here, but Ron Cochran needs a completion here to keep Florida's chances of getting a first down alive.
And 4 wideouts on the field to help Cochran do it. Sioux Falls running a twist. Cochran has time. Fights off a defender.
Got to get rid of it.
The pocket unleashes toward the end zone.
Whoa.
And it's deflected away. A huge play by Nick Fargo. What's Nick Fargo doing covering a receiver in the end zone? It's 4th down.
Such an amazing play from Ron Cochran there in the pocket to keep that play alive, and then the gumption to take the shot to the end zone. I love it. The gunslinger mentality coming out from Ron Cochran there to try to get Florida back into this game. But unfortunately, great coverage by the linebacker from Sioux Falls to knock that one away.
Ron Cochran extending the play. Felt like the end of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. It was just so long. Unfortunately, it ended up incomplete. Now Cochran has time, but cannot escape this time, and it'll be a turnover on downs. Biff Markham coming up with the icing sack.
Yeah, great defense from Sioux Falls. Really has been the staple of this team's identity, and it holds true here at home in this wild card matchup, and a big sack there to stop Florida's drive. And now going to take over on downs, Josh. And they're going to need to get a first down. Florida does have 3 timeouts, but they will need to get a first down if they want to be able to nail this game out.
And the formation indicates that no wideouts on the field. And that is still G.P. Wells in the game. I think I saw backup quarterback for Sioux Falls, Willie Beeman, getting loose on the sidelines, but could not quite tell if he made it into the game or not just yet. We'll keep you posted on that. 1 minute remaining. Florida calls timeout. I believe that is Tyree still under center. Those bright white sleeves. And Florida needs a stop here. Preferably a turnover. Wells up the middle this time, and Wells has the first down.
Yeah, Josh, that should about do it there. 1 timeout remaining for Florida. They just got to get Sioux Falls just got to line up one more time. G.P. Wells just has to hang on to the football, and that'll be about all she wrote.
And the GG's flying in the chat right now. The Florida Storm. And if you ask anybody on that Storm squad, their expectations are clear. They expect to make the playoffs, and they expect to go deep and compete for the SFL championship year in and year out. And unfortunately, as Julian Tyree takes a knee here, they've run into a very strong, very balanced Sioux Falls team in their own stadium, and they caught them at the top of their game tonight.
Yeah, Josh, and I think it really, the SFL, it really is. It's any given weekend, any given matchup. It's a week-to-week thing. You can't look ahead and say, oh, that's an automatic win in any department. And, again, I felt like when I saw all the matchups on paper, this one to me was the most exciting. And it was due to the history here with these teams in the playoffs and how well they can perform and how respected these two teams are. And so really excited for this game. Scoreboard got away from us a little bit, but it was a great match. The 17-point comeback from Florida was fantastic. Sioux Falls able to keep their composure and regain and get that 14-point lead is, again, just a testament to how well coached these two teams are.
a combined 31 playoff appearances between these two teams. And that will be 20 wins between these two teams. Florida has 12. This will be number 8 for Sioux Falls as Tyree takes one last knee. Congratulations to the Sioux Falls Sparrows, the Sioux Falls Stars. Getting it done. 31-17, your final. Out of South Dakota, Stephen Hacker, your thoughts on the game?
It was just a lot of fun. I think Florida was 2-0 in this matchup in the playoffs, so Sioux Falls is able to cross that one off and say, hey, you know what, we got to win over Florida in the playoffs. So that's a big keystone win, and that's something you can build upon. Your momentum going into the next round, because Florida was probably the toughest 12 seed to ever come into the SFL playoffs. So yes. Sioux Falls absolutely had a tremendous game plan. Florida, it was able to stay in it, but really Sioux Falls was in control. They looked great. GP Wells had a phenomenal game, but the defense for Sioux Falls doing what they always do, get with the takeaways, and SFL setting team, and it's just so amazing what they can do on defense, and they're so composed, and they've been able to keep that defensive backfield around for a while, and Jay Ringgold and AJ Levy are two of the guys that I always say, when you get into the red zone, you can't throw on them because they'll take it away from you. And, they've extended that to between the 20s. They're just such a dangerous team on offense and defense. And then, you throw into some of the kick returns that AJ Levy can do. They're a dangerous team. They can make a deep run into the playoffs. They've been to the big game before. They haven't won it yet, but, Sioux Falls can match up well with anybody any given week.
And playing in top form tonight, Julian Tyree, 31 of 35. Quarterback rating over 100. To me, this was separated by the performances of the running backs. GP Wells, over 200 yards from scrimmage. 3 touchdowns, 2 through the air, 1 by land. But Charlie Boletsky was absolutely hogtied by this Sioux Falls defense. We talk about the secondary so much. What about the front 7? 11 carries, only 60 yards. Did find the end zone on a short yardage touchdown. But to me, if you're Sioux Falls and you could take the most potent weapon away from your opponent, which what Sioux Falls did tonight, they're going to make a run in this SFL postseason. Your player of the game, GP Wells, 21 carries, 152 yards on the ground, 58 by air, 3 touchdowns and some. For Stephen Hacker, Justin Reside and Liam in the truck. For Cameron Irvine producing, I'm Josh Circle. We'll join you for the quarterfinal round next week. Until then, I will see you on the internet. Congratulations to Sioux Falls. Your final score, Sioux Falls 31, Florida 17.
Back here at SFL Studios with your post-game update. And Tim, we now know the quarterfinal matchups. The bracket will be revealed shortly right over my face. But first, Tim, the Sioux Falls Sparrows getting it done. Seemed like Florida expended all of their energy just to come back and tie the game, and didn't really have much else left in the fourth quarter.
Bookend performances from the Sparrows. 14-0 edge for them in the first quarter, 14-0 edge for them in the fourth quarter. Florida expended all their energy. I think you said it well, mounting that comeback towards the end of the first half and mostly in the start of the second half to finally tie things up at 17 apiece. But really, like Josh said, the biggest difference in this game to me was the running back game. Cochran threw the 3 picks. One of them was on the Hail Mary, so maybe you can forgive him for that. But Sioux Falls wins the turnover differential yet again. Big surprise, 11th time this season they've done that. But the ground game was the difference. Wells was fantastic. Florida's secondary could not stop him.
Cochran was slammed too with 4 sacks. The Sioux Falls Sparrows won the game at the line of scrimmage. So with that being said, here is your quarterfinal bracket for next weekend. We're going to start in Vancouver. The number 1 seed of Vancouver Legion will be on the field Saturday at 2:30. They will take on Tulsa. On that same side of the bracket, Sioux Falls, the number 5 seed, will take on number 4 Lone Star. That follows Vancouver. So after Saturday, one half of the bracket will be decided. Then Sunday, we start in Baltimore, where the Vultures are going to host the Knights. And then our last game of the weekend, Sunday, 4:45, that's Louisiana hosting Charleston. Tim, your most intriguing game of the quarterfinals?
Well, I think anytime Baltimore is in the mix, that game's intriguing. I think that team is excellent. Obviously, Vancouver's the number 1 seed in this tournament for a reason. They're an elite team, top to bottom. I think Tulsa's got to be kicking itself. That's a tough matchup, drawing Vancouver in the second round. But the most intriguing game, I mean, no surprise, 5 versus 4. Sioux Falls against Lone Star with the performance from the Sioux Falls defense today. You might even like their chances to pull that slight upset on the road against Lone Star, which did very well this year, obviously, to make it in at 8-4. And then a revenge game, really, for Charleston against Louisiana. Louisiana shut them out mid-season. Great performance from the Revs, but a different-looking Preds team these days.
5 of the 8 teams left in the playoffs did not win a playoff game last year or were not even in the playoffs at all, as Baltimore and Vancouver hope to top the field and stay alive and get to the semifinals. Well, Tim, it was a pleasure being here with you today at SFL Studios. We thank you for being a part of our broadcast, and now we get to enjoy our weekend and get ready for the quarterfinals next week.
It's been a pleasure, Cam. Thanks so much for having me. 4 great games. The SFL playoffs never disappoint. Last year in the postseason, average margin of victory less than 9 points. And this weekend, all the games decided by 2 possessions.
Well, we've got plenty more drama and action to come in the SFL. This has been the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on Next Level Sports. And for all of us in SFL Nation, we thank you for watching. Simulationfl.net for more information. And we will see you next weekend. Have a great, wonderful Sunday, everybody.